This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And, of course, we're heard around the world on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and let me see, across Europe on Euro Radio TV, and, of course, on iHeartRadio. My guest this hour, X-Zone Nation, is Janet Roper, and we're going to be talking about animal communication this hour. Janet is a renowned animal communicator, educator, animal advocate, and author. Her focus within animal communications is strengthening and nurturing the animal-human bond by working from the stance of a relationship with animals instead of the power over animals. She has created and produced numerous podcasts, has appeared on a variety of radio shows, and has been featured in a number of news articles. In 2015, Janet began her personal walk on the Shamanic path. Based in Missoula, Montana, Janet is cheerfully owned and managed by her cat, Raven, and dog, Max. The website is www.janetroper.com. And Janet, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you, Rob, so much for having me on here today. This is going to be really fun.
So what was it that got you started as an animal communicator?
You know, Rob, what got me started as an animal communicator was a dog. At the time, I was teaching music in my house. I had probably about 40 kids coming in, little violin players and piano players, and one of my dogs passed away. And I knew that I'm a two-dog kind of gal. So I went to the Humane Society, found the most adorable dog on the face of the earth. Oh, my gosh, he was so cute. And this was before I got into animal communication. And I did all my research and all my homework. I was not using my intuition at the time, per se. But, you know, I asked all the proper questions. And when I asked the question, does he keep his kennel clean? They said, yes, he does. He keeps his kennel very clean. So I adopted Teddy, got him home, and he kept the kennel clean. And the rest of the house was just free range, where he would just use it as his bathroom. Because
it was outside his kennel.
Yes, hello?
Yeah, I said that's because it was outside of his kennel.
Yeah, exactly. And so I called the vet, and everything was fine, and worked with a trainer. And, you know, it did help some, but it still didn't solve the problem. And so literally one day I'm sitting in front of the fireplace and getting ready to light a fire, and this ad for Animal Communicator falls into my lap. Face up. Can't help but read it.
Wow.
Called her, saw what she did with Teddy, saw how she worked with me and Teddy and our relationship, and the incredible difference it made. And the rest is history.
Son of a gun. So how would you describe what an animal communicator is? What's your definition of it?
That's a really interesting question because my definition has changed with the more experience I get. An animal communicator technically is someone who communicates intuitively with the animals, so checks in through their intuition and receives information from the animals through pictures, through words, through feelings, through their senses, basically. As I work more and more in the field of animal communication, what I'm starting to define it as is someone who really has a true, honest, deep respect for the animals and has a heart-to-heart connection with them. And it's my belief that everybody can communicate with animals. It's just bringing that to your consciousness and being aware that you already know your dog, your cat, your horse, your bird. You already know them the best. You're already communicating with them. And for me, it's just helping the person take animal communication out of the stance of woo-woo until, it's just an everyday, ordinary tool that you use in building relationship with your animal.
All right, Kathy, Janet, please stand by. Janet Roper is our special guest, and Janet and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break. But if you'd like to find out more about Janet, please visit her website at www.janetroper.com. That's www.janetroper.com. And we'll both be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And don't forget, X Zone Nation, if you'd like to find out what programs we have available for you on the X Zone Broadcast Network 24/7, 365, visit us online at www.xzbn.net.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Janet Roper is our guest, and Janet is an animal communicator and educator. Her website is janetroper.com. And Janet, how did you start working with animal spirit guides?
I started working with animal spirit guides because I was studying to become a spiritual director. And I had been doing animal communication at the time, and my thought was I was going to be working with humans as a spiritual director, and the animals had a different plan for me. So the work I'd done in animal communication started to gradually shift so that my focus in spiritual direction was on animals instead of, with people as traditionally done. And then the way I got into working with the animal spirit guides was we were doing a class study on animal spirit guides, and I was beyond fascinated. It was like the whole world opened up to me, Rob. And I'm going, this is what I need. This is what I've been looking for. And when I realized that took the work I did in animal communication and that I do in animal communication to a totally different level. Because not only was I able to work with the animals here in the physical, but the first way I started working with the spirit animals was by helping people who had lost their animals, whose animals, their pets had died and they had transitioned over.
Oh, gosh.
And so my first step was in helping people who were grieving their pets, talking to their angel animals, and bringing back messages from the animals to the people.
So would we say that spirit animals are just like spirit human beings?
That's a fair question. Yes, I would say so. One of the things that with the spirit animals is the reason that we connect with them so easily, and again, I believe that all of us can do this, is that they're familiar to us. We all love animals. Animals, we just see them every day. They're a part of our lives. So making that transition from seeing a physical animal to going, oh yeah, there's an animal spirit too, that makes it really easy because we're so used to seeing them in our physical life.
Right.
And the other thing that makes it so easy is they have a face. And we humans, we're good at communicating with anything that has a face to face. That is the way that we operate. So with the spirit animals, we've got that warm fuzzy attached to it, so to speak, that it's an animal. And then it's an animal with a face. And then the next step is just learning how to connect and which animals to connect with.
So what is the difference then between spirit animals, spirit animal guides, animal allies, and totems?
The first three that you mentioned, I use all of those interchangeably, Rob. To me, it's friends. It's an ally. It's somebody I'm in contact with. Okay. The totems, to me, is where it gets different. The totems are the ones that I work with for a longer period of time, and we're talking years here. Okay. We have a very significant relationship. I am listening to my totems. I am doing what they tell me to do in the spiritual world. I am bringing that back into the physical and putting that in action as my totems are telling me to do that. With the animal spirit guides, with the allies, I look at those as, they're dropping in. They might be neighbors, somebody you say hello to, somebody that you know at a coffee shop. So I've still got a relationship with them, but it's not as formal. And it's not as in-depth as it is with the totem animals, at least the way that I practice it.
I see. So how do spirit animals help us then in our daily life?
In ever so many ways. The one thing that I like working with spirit animals is that when you connect with them, a lot of times they will have messages, and not just specifically messages for you, but messages that they want you to bring back to the physical so that it makes the world a better place. I call it a working relationship. Okay. That I am their hands. I'm putting in action what they want done to make the world a better place and to make it a better place for their species, their physical counterpart here on Earth, but also Mother Earth herself and the people here on Earth. And that could be something as, if you're talking to a spirit animal, let's say that's a horse. And this horse is saying, I know that you've got experience. You know how to communicate, or not communicate, intuitively, but you know how to work with horses. You know how to be in the presence of horses. And you understand horse language. And here I'm talking body language, Rob. And so that horse spirit might be saying, would you mind going out to the local barn and volunteering and helping the horses there? Would you mind getting into rescue in some way? I would like you to work with kids with disabilities at those places where they use the horses to work with those kind of kids, because you understand the horse language and you can translate that to the kids and to the people there at that place. And so for me, when I'm working with the spirit animals, it's definite, like I say, it's a working relationship, bringing that back into the physical world. And this might sound kind of, I don't know, silly or crazy or something or another, but I truly believe that in working with the animals, we have a better life so that we can live well and that we can die well. And that once we leave this physical plane, because of the work that the animals have helped us to do, we've left the earth in a better place. We've left the animal counterparts, our kin, in a better place, humans in a better place, and we can move on to the next realm with a clear conscience, so to speak.
So tell me, what happens if people don't have animals? Do they still have the ability of having the animal spirit animals helping them?
Yes, if they want to. Absolutely. Some people will, of course, gravitate more to angel guides. And some people will gravitate more to their ancestors, and those grandparents, grandmothers helping them, kind of thing. But yeah, those of us with animals, I think that we gravitate towards the animals. And if you don't have an animal, that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It might be a little bit different. You'll experience it a little bit differently because you've not been in constant relationship with the animals in the physical.
Wow. So just help me understand, why do these animals want to help us when so many people have been so mean to animals?
Oh my gosh, I'm getting truth bumps as you ask that question. On one level, they want to help, again, their animal physical counterparts here. And they want to also help us humans understand animals better and to realize that they're just a different species. They're just a different expression of essence, so to speak. So, as you said earlier, when I'm working with animals, I do not work with power over. I work in relationship with animals. And the animals, the spirit animals, they are so wanting that expression of being in relationship with animals, understanding that they are our kin. They are truly our kin with whom we cohabit the earth, that they really want to reach out and help people who are ready to hear that and ready to help the animals, so to speak. The person has to be ready for this. It's, in my experience, there's preparatory work that goes in to connecting with spirit animals. Yes, you can Google that and you can find out who your spirit animal is and all this good stuff. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Beyond that, it's building the relationship. And just like with humans, it takes a lot to build relationship. Particularly, we're talking different species. We're talking animals in a different plane. We're talking spirit animals. So there's a lot of background work that needs to be done. There's a lot of clearing of our own maybe misconceptions or judgments that needs to be done. There's a lot of really looking at with clear eyes that I have had, me personally, Janet, because I'm human, I have played a part at some point in not treating the animals here in the physical world as well as I could. A perfect example of that is when I was a kid. I didn't have any pets growing up. My grandparents had a farm. I would go down with my parents on the weekends and visit. And I was in heaven because, there were the dogs and the kittens and all of that. And I just thought it was better than chocolate.
Wow.
But I was taught, not by saying, Janet, do this, but by example, that if a cat gets in your way, you just kick it out of the way.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, of course, I was a kid. I was doing what was expected of me. My kick was kind of like a gentle nudge. I just couldn't do it, But when I look back on that through the eyes of someone who does the work that I do and who has gone out and is willing to make a difference in the lives of the animals in the physical through the help of the spirit animals. There's a lot of clearing up from my background that still needs to be done when I look at that. So the spirit animals ask us, again, to be the best person that we can be, and that is continuously changing. Because the best person we can be, it's always moving ahead. We're going to do this a little bit better. We're going to do this a little bit better.
Janet, how does somebody find out if they have a spirit animal guide?
I love that question. Part of it is just noticing what's going on around you. And I know that just sounds like, oh yeah, Janet, yeah, I'm noticing what's going on. But notice with total consciousness what's going on around you. What animals are you seeing on a day-to-day basis? What animals are coming across? Now, with spirit animals, they don't have to necessarily show up in the physical, through their physical representation. They can. But let's say your spirit animal is fox. Okay, well, you're going down the road and all of a sudden you see the sign for Fox Estates. Or you're watching TV and all of a sudden the special comes on about foxes. So they will come to you in some way, shape, or form, whether that's in the physical, whether it's through pictures, whether it's through TVs or whatever kind of thing.
But how do we differentiate between them coming to us or sheer coincidence?
I don't believe anything's a coincidence.
But many people do.
I know. You're so right on that. So the people that thinks it's a coincidence, what I would ask them to do is, how often is that coincidence happening? Where does it stop being a coincidence and become a meeting of minds, so to speak? And again, that goes back, I think, to, you really have to know yourself. You really have to do your own inner work. You really have to know what your expectations are, what your preconceptions are, kind of thing. But when does that coincidence stop being a coincidence? Is it after number 3? Is it after number 7? Is it after number 107? So whatever that is for you, that to me is the gentle nudging of the animal saying, okay, enough with the coincidences now. Now let's talk, some real stuff here.
Food for thought. Exonation, Janet Roper is our guest, and her website is janetroper.com. She is an animal communicator and educator. And Janet and I will be back on the other side of this break after the news as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you would like to send me an email, it's very simple. www.xzbn.net is the website, and my email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. Don't go away now.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All right, Janet, you and I are talking about animals. We're talking about spirit animal guides, and animal allies and totems. But how does somebody build a relationship with their animal guide or spirit animal guide?
First of all, I would say, become aware of the animals that are coming to you, that are around you, and everything. And of all of those animals, it could be magpie, it could be hawk, it could be squirrel, it could be caterpillar. Have like a meet and greet with them. Building a relationship with spirit guides and animals is like building a relationship with a human in real life. Okay? So, when you probably first meet somebody, your response is not, let's move in together and let's see how it goes. Your first response is more likely to be, how about going to get a cup of coffee and let's talk, that kind of thing. And so you do that with the animals too. So let's say caterpillar has shown up in your life quite consistently. And you are wondering if caterpillar is your spirit animal guide.
But wait a sec. Hold on here.
Yes.
Hold on here. Caterpillar is an insect. It's not an animal.
I look at everything as animals. Above it, the spiders, to me, they are of the animal world.
What about fish?
Insects, go ahead.
What about fish?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The thing to be careful with fish is sometimes, and not all the time, but sometimes when a fish shows up, it can be a warning. And so just keep your eyes open. Be aware of your gut feeling if a fish shows up. I've never had a fish as a warning. When I've had fish, it's always been as a normal communication, as we're going to be working together in this area. I don't have fish as a totem, but they have showed up. And just, as an ally, as a friend, can you help me do this kind of thing, Janet, since you're in the physical and I'm not? But to be aware of the fish that shows up. And one of the things that you can do, Rob, is you can Google to find out more information about it. There are some excellent books out there on spirit guides and spirit totem animals. And just start with those to get some information about the animals. And then as you have your meet and greet, asking questions like, what do you have in mind? How do you see us working together? What does this look like to you? And then honestly evaluate if that works for you or not. Because again, it's relationship. It's relationship. The relationship is really important. And just as with humans, we have different relationships with different people, so it is with the animals. So if you were looking for, or an animal spirit guide is looking to work with you, be open. And if an animal spirit guide is asking you to do something that you don't feel comfortable doing, or that you feel is out of your realm, or even is not of interest to you, then it's like, well, thank you. Maybe we'll connect later, kind of thing. And then just keep your eyes open for other animals that come to you, or insects, or fish.
Okay, so what is the difference between, once again, I'm a little hazy on this, spirit animals, spirit guides. I know I can understand what they are, animal allies, okay, but totems. Aren't these all words and meanings that are synonymous with one another?
To me, totems is deeper. When I'm working with one of my totems, that means that we have a deep relationship, a commitment, okay? A long-standing commitment. One of my totems is Hawk, and we have worked together for decades. And there is a comfort there in having that relationship of working together for decades. But there's also there's still work to be done. We haven't finished our work together yet here, Janet. So we will still continue working together, for however long. Hawk and I agree upon doing that kind of thing. So with the animal totems, to me, it goes in really deeper. It can be lasting. For me, with an animal totem, we're talking years of work. We're talking years of commitment. We're talking years of, let's just work together. How can you guide me? How can I thank you for guiding me, for working with me and showing me these things? Because so many times we're thinking we're getting the messages from the totems. Yes, we are. But it's also really important for us to honor them, give thanks in the physical for them helping us. And what we do is we ask them, how can I thank you? What can I do for you to thank you for being with me through all of these years? And with Hawk, the way that we work together, Hawk is usually long vision, looking out. And that's the way that we work together. And I am truly grateful for Hawk in helping me with that long vision kind of thing to see what's going on. And the way that I thank Hawk is by giving in the physical, by donating, and by helping the animals in the physical, by helping the people who are interested in learning animal communication, to help them start to get a longer vision, so to speak, of what a relationship with an animal can be, other than just, you're my dog and I told you to sit, and so you're going to sit. kind of thing. Again, it's taking it from the power over to the relationship with.
So how do you know if your spirit animal guide is here to stay or they're just here to drop by? Like, why would they not stay?
Because sometimes whatever the mission is, whatever they've had in mind to accomplish with you, it is finished. Mm-hmm. Another one of the totems that I've worked with, and this one I worked with basically since day one, almost since the day that I found out about animal spirit guides in the spiritual direction program I was taking, and that was Jaguar, the cat, and we worked together 15 years or so. And then all of a sudden I was doing the normal work that I do and mm-hmm. Jaguar wasn't there. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And I checked in with Jaguar and I didn't get anything. And that was scary. That was very scary. So I am in about a year and a half into a 2-year intensive shamanic program training. And so I hooked up, I connected with my shaman, my mentor, and we were talking about this, and I'm telling her what I experienced and what it felt like for me and everything. And she asked the question, she said, Janet, does it feel as if your work together is done? And I'm going, yes, it does. And what was so odd, Rob, was I had not even thought about that. I was thinking, oh my God, what have I done wrong? Why are you not showing up like you're supposed to, like you always do, Mm-hmm. And when she turned that around and said, is it possible that the work is done? It was like, yeah, it is.
Unreal.
It really is.
So these messages that we get from our animal spirit guides, are they universal or are they just specific to individual people?
I think that when we first start working with the animals, it's going to be pretty specific. Because, again, it's that meet and greet kind of thing. You're getting to know each other. And so if, let's say I'm talking to Snake, okay, and Snake just has a message for me of, well, and this did happen. I was getting ready to move from one of my places, and I walked in to the laundry room, and there was this big snake curled up, like right smack dab in the middle of the laundry room. I'm going, wonder what message that is. And the message that it was for me at that time was protection. Snake was telling me to watch out for what's going on around me and to be careful and with this move and everything. And the way the move took place was not in the way I thought the move would take place. And it was pretty shaky. It was actually pretty scary the way it actually came around.
Wow.
But because I'd had that warning from Snake, it was like, oh, I got a heads up. This is cool. Mm-hmm.
So what was it like the very first time that you realized that you were another Dr. Doolittle and you were talking to the animals?
Truthfully, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Wow.
This is like so cool. And then it was like, oh, am I crazy? I can't talk to animals. That's not normal. You don't talk to animals, that kind of thing. But what it evolved into was realizing that, yeah, I'm talking to the animals. And now it's a state of being with me. I talk to animals and I don't even realize it, in connection with them intuitively. The other day, it was probably about 5:30. I'm in Montana. So, sun comes up about 5:30 or so. And I have French doors off my bedroom. And I had the French doors open because it was nice sleeping weather. And about 5:30, I was awoken by the most horrible, raucous sound of birds on the face of the earth. And that is not an exaggeration. And I woke up, and out on the balcony outside of my bedroom, there were about 8 magpies sitting on the railing, looking in the bedroom, going, caw, 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 caw. And then there was about 6 or 8 magpies flying around those magpies, all right there in front of my bedroom window, all of this action taking place. And it was just an incredible thing to experience, I do think that they were calling me to wake up. I thanked them, and then I went and shut the door and went back to sleep.
So what were you doing before you became an animal communicator, and And started your shamanic path?
I was a musician.
Ah.
My background is as a performing musician and also in teaching music. So all of that has come together to help me with the work that I do now, with the listening skills.
Wow. Big difference. Well, not really, because musicians are very intuitive. I used to play in a band before I joined the police force and before I got into radio and TV. So, the artsy people in life are very sensitive. And I think that this is a big part of it, is having the open heart and having the ability to open yourself and just be who you are instead of who society wants you to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes, Rob, that takes a lot of courage, doesn't it?
Well, yes, it does. Yes, it does. But you know what? It has served me well over my many years. One of the contracts that my company did was as communication director for the SPCA. And I will tell you something, that I learned so much about animals, as well as the inspectors, investigators, and enforcement branch. And the hearts of the people who donate their time, their money.
Yes.
And those people who go out of their way to do everything they can to show love, affection, kindness to the animals that they adopt. Yes. I am so fortunate to have had that experience. And I would not trade it for the world.
It's an incredible experience, isn't it? And to me, that's the animals, saying, look, this is how much capacity humans have to love us.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this.
My dear friend, you and I have to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be talking more about my favorite subject, animals, here in the X Zone. X Zone Nation, Janet Roper is our special guest. And I'm still getting over this cold, so thank you very much for all your emails and get well cards. And my Lord, I didn't know Federal Express delivered flowers and chocolates, but thank you anyway. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. And welcome back, everyone. My guest this hour is Janet Roper. She is an animal communicator and educator. Her website is www.janetroper.com. Now, she also is on Facebook, /Janet.Roper. And she also has Facebook.com /talk2 the animals. On Twitter, /Janet Roper. And she's also on LinkedIn, gang. All you have to do is just go over there and put her name in the search engine. First of all, Janet, as I said to you during the commercial break, I thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure having you. And one thing that animals have that humans do not have, and I wish that more humans did, is unconditional love. Animals are very forgiving. And it hurts me to know that there are people out there who deliberately hurt animals. And when you look at the big picture, animals are a very big part of our world. For example, police dogs, search and rescue dogs, police horses, and the list goes on and on and on. And when you have the ability, when you have the opportunity of communicating with these partners, work partners that use animals, what do they say to you? What do they tell you?
Let's go with horses, okay?
Sure.
Horses are truly our partners, and they have a special place in my heart. And the horses, it's like they are nudging us along. Actually, my angel horses, is here. Is it okay if I check in with him, Rob?
Sure, please.
Okay. All right, this is Shiloh. Shiloh passed over in December of 2015, and he and I worked together in the physical, and now we work together in the non-physical. And this is Shiloh talking now. Well, we horses are here to help people understand that you need to move forward, you need to move forward, you need to move forward. You can't stand in one place when it comes to working with the animals. There is always something that you can do. Sometimes people drop the load because they think they can't carry it or they think they are too weak. But we animals are here to nudge you on and to say, yes, you can. And not only yes, you can, but you must. Because you humans are part of this world. And while we help you, you need to help us too. So that was Shiloh. And he's just so profound in his messages and what he has to say. He wants people to remember that, yes, you can connect with the animals. Yes, you must help us animals because we cannot do it without you. We cannot do it without you. We are all together here. And if one part of the link is missing, and right now there is, and this is Shiloh talking, there is a part of the link that is missing, which is the human component. And Shiloh is saying that there cannot be a difference made in the world with the work animals unless the humans step up and do their part. I don't get the sense, Rob, that he's talking about the partners, okay, like the police dogs have or the police horses have, those partners. But it's those of us in the world who were taught to kick kittens, as a child. That kind of thing. It's for us to step up and to realize how we need to change and how we need to look at the animals differently and embrace them for the different sentient beings that they are.
It's a proven fact that if a child is mean to animals or reptiles or fish or whatever, they are going to be mean to people.
Yep.
That's a proven fact.
Yep.
If somebody's anticipating buying a pet, how do you best suggest they proceed? Is it the pet that picks the home, or is it the home that picks the pet?
Depends on the situation. With myself personally, it's usually the animal that picks me, which doesn't come as a surprise to me at all. What I would do is to do homework. I'm a great one in doing homework. Google, what is the animal that you are looking at? What are their characteristics? Okay, if you are a novice rider, you're probably not going to be wanting a jumper horse to begin with, or a green horse. So do your homework, know what the animal is, know the match, know the work that's involved with them. And then instead of asking the animal, do you want to come home and live with me? Because that can be on so many different levels. That can really give the animal false hope. Yeah, somebody wants to take me home. And then you find out that the animal was not the one that was meant for you.
Right.
And you need to take that animal back. So what I would ask instead is, what kind of home are you looking for? What are you looking for when you live with humans? What makes you feel comfortable? and then see if your home, if your family, if you fit that criteria.
And another thing, Exonation, if you are considering bringing an addition to your family, whether it's a pet, guinea pig, hamster, white mouse, dog, cat, fish, whatever, remember, with that adoption comes a lot of responsibility. In the case of dogs, make sure that you understand that this animal or this new member of your family is going to require veterinarian care, grooming. They're going to need walks. They become part of their life. They look at you as family. So please think twice. If you've got a small apartment, you don't need a Great Dane. If you've got a small apartment, there are little pets if you have the need for a pet. But please remember that there's food, there's grooming, there is health care for the animals, and they are part of your family. So if you cannot treat them as part of your family and financially bear the responsibility of another member of your family, buy yourself a book with some nice pictures of great animals. And there, I'm off my soapbox. Back to you.
Yeah. Nice soapbox.
Thank you.
Very nice soapbox. I like that soapbox.
What are your final thoughts for members of the X Zone Nation tonight as an animal communicator? What would you like to communicate for the animals to the listeners?
You too can talk to the animals, and that you're probably, if you love and honor animals, you're probably already doing it, bringing it to your consciousness, and that no matter what information you get for that moment in time, trust that's what the animal is telling you. And if anybody in our listening audience is thinking, oh my gosh, is it really true that this magpie is telling me yada, yada, yada? If you've got any doubt, connect with me. I'll help you discern what's going on with that.
You see, I believe that the you know how humans like to put themselves on the top of the totem and animals underneath them?
Yep.
Well, I believe it's the other way around. Because animals don't go to war. Animals don't deliberately go out and harm each other. Animals take better care of their own than humans do in some cases. And if all the animals on this planet ever decided to join forces against humans, we'd lose. It's that plain, it's that simple.
Just think of the insects if they decided to do that. Just the insects alone.
That's right, yeah. That is so true. Speaking about insects, what is your take on why there are so many problems with the bumblebees? That they're not as plentiful as they used to be.
I think it goes back to the humans and what we are doing to not take care of the planet.
Right.
And how we are not stepping up to our responsibility. As Shiloh said a little bit earlier, we need to step up. We need to step up and do our part. And if there is one part, and again, it goes to, in that link, right now, the way I experience it, it's the human species that is the weak link in the link between all of the species and the animals and everything.
I agree with you 100%. And I'm sure that all the different types of microwaves that we're putting throughout the air, by all the cell towers, the demand for cell communication is crazy. I know I've got a saying, smartphones, dumb people, smart cars, dumb drivers. I'm sure that the amount of, like I was saying, microwaves in the air is certainly having its effect on Mother Nature's animals.
Yeah. And you think of that, the planes in the air, think of the just everything that we've done. We've taken away their home. Yeah. We don't have priority over the other species. We are in relationship with the other species. And the sooner that we humans realize that and work in conjunction for the better of all, not just the human species, and as I'm looking out my window here, I'm seeing 2 really big houses going up on my mountain kind of thing, right. And what animals, what insects have been displaced by those houses going up. And, have the people who are putting those up, whether it's the owners or the contractors, have they asked the animals, told them what's going on, giving them a place to go?
Well, that's why we're happy you're around, Janet, because you can help us get that message across to these people who need a real rude awakening. So, Janet Roper, thank you so much for joining us tonight. A great pleasure. And X Zone Nation, if you'd like to contact Janet, her website is www.janetroper.com. And if you can make a donation, or if you can bring some dog food, cat food, or pellets for the small animals to your local SPCA or your local shelter, I'm sure that would be appreciated. And also take a look at the people who are donating their time, their resources, to making this a better world by taking care of animals. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.